So welcome to our podcast. The name of our podcast is Within the Life. So we are really privileged to have you in this podcast because you are one of the very known ophthalmologists in Delhi and worldwide. People know you. And सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि आपको पद्म श्री की टाइटल भी मिली, उपाधि मिली है. तो इसका मतलब यह है कि और इंडिया के कई डॉक्टर्स ने आपका नाम हमको रिफर भी किया है बहुत से चीज़ों के बारे में आपको. तो वी आर वेरी हैप्पी टू हैव यू विथ अस एंड आई नो एंड आई थैंक यू फॉर taking this pain to come here because you are a busy person and we are not that busy. So welcome to our podcast, sir.
Thank you, Jitendra ji. It is really a privilege to be connecting with your audience through this podcast.
Definitely, sir.
It is an opportunity for us to look into ourselves. Your program gives us that opportunity and to be able to communicate that with you and with your audience.
Yes, thank you, sir. So this is a very, very, as I told, informal drawing room discussion, nothing very serious. But what I wanted to know from you is how you started the journey of your life.
So it was a schooling which was done in 7 different cities because my father was transferable in government service.
Okay.
So we went to different parts of UP, like small cities like Barabanki, Banaras.
So he was also a doctor?
No, he was in the Indian Revenue Service.
IRS. Okay, that's great.
So he was posted in different capacities in different places.
So that is how you had opportunity to be educated in lot of places in UP.
Different schools. So that also shapes you a lot because being that kind of adaptable to different people, different situations, making new friends every time. Being in smaller cities also gives you that grounding and that feeling of being on earth, which lasts with you all your lifetime. I think.
That is a great experience because of that. But sir, my question is that when did you decide to become a ophthalmologist?
First of all, how did it happen that I became a doctor?
Yes.
So my father, I am the youngest of the 4 children.
Okay.
And my father wanted my elder brother, who's the oldest of the 4,
okay,
to become a doctor, but he was very keen on being an engineer, so he
those days
there were only
two options.
That was in the year somewhere around 67, 68, that because he decided to go into IT, in fact in 65, so he joined engineering in 65. So I had no choice but to be a doctor.
Okay.
And I was, my father told me, and I never thought of any other option.
Okay.
So from that moment it was drilled into me that then I have to become a doctor.
Okay. So you enjoy your profession from the day one, or you had some grudge, something? Oh, it would have been better if I was an engineer or something, professor or something else.
No, I think this is a profession which involves you so much that you can't be doing well unless you are totally happy with it or immersed in it or you are enjoying it or you are a part of it.
Yes.
At least in our times, it was never thought of as a commerce or a venture in that sense.
Yeah.
The way today's industry is. But it was more of a sense of commitment, and there was a bend right from the beginning of thinking of ophthalmology because of the fact that you heard of people who were blind and who could be benefited and how
So there was a social motive also.
there was always that feeling right
Always.
from the beginning.
Yes.
That was probably the prime motivation,
That's good.
which was there. So ophthalmology was always in the mind when MBBS started.
So you did your MBBS from Delhi or?
I did it from Delhi.
Okay.
I finished my schooling from Chandigarh,
Okay.
at DAV College, Chandigarh. But then I did not have a domicile there. So I had to appear in Central because I had just gone to Chandigarh in 71. So I was only eligible to be going into a medical college through these central competitions. So
those days this PMT was there or something like that.
Yeah, there was individual PMT. Delhi had a separate PMT.
Yes, yes.
So you had to be in the top 35 of all those who appeared to get into it. So managed mission here, and my father was that time posted in Bihar, and then he managed to get to Delhi in 72. So that's how Maulana Azad happened, and
Okay.
joined Maulana Azad in 72. So over 52 years in medicine now, medical profession, medical student and profession.
Yes, 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 yes. So, and sir, what brought you to this opening of your own vision? You have vision clinics, 3 or 4 here in Delhi. So, is it a commercial drive or it's a professional?
Professional urge to do some good work.
Okay.
When
I have seen your CV. It mentions about a lot of relief camps and all those things.
Yeah.
So you do that by society or your own?
We had been doing camps from Gangaram Hospital as well. I've been a part of Gangaram Hospital ever since I left Maulana Azad Medical College. Initially, when we did our residency in All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Dr. Rajendra Prasad Center, the camp started then. As a junior resident or as a senior resident, we were doing a lot of camps and charitable work. Then in Maulana Azad also, that work continued. I was in the faculty from 84 to 92, and then 92 joined Gangaram. From Gangaram also, we continued with those charitable works. 10 years continuously, we did a camp in Ranikhet, which was very fulfilling. Yes,
Okay.
because that area did not have any facilities for surgery right till Bareilly at that time when we started. And people used to trek for days to come to the camp to get this eye surgery done. And we started doing the phacoemulsification at that time, which is the small incision.
So this your vision hospital, or you do the phaco and you also LASIK also. There is LASIK.
Phaco also, LASIK also. We have all the subspecialties.
Okay.
And phacoemulsification also the more advanced type called the femto laser assisted cataract surgery. Now there is a laser which does a few steps for us mathematically more accurately. So that also we have here. So the purpose of starting this was to have enterprise of one's own as well, in addition to the responsibility of chairman that I held at Gangaram.
Okay.
To be able to create a great center, nice center, we could create a facility which was top of the line even at that time.
Yeah. During my civil services, I used to study a lot of general studies, knowing about things and peoples and all those things. So one guy who was an ophthalmologist of Sweden, he got the first ever Nobel Prize. And he was very controversial because he said that Einstein's theory of relativity is wrong. So he was you must be knowing this guy, Oliver Gulstrand.
Gulstrand, yes.
Gulstrand.
Yes.
So the Oliver Gulstrand, he was opposing, and it's very interesting that he was, because Sweden is the country where a Nobel Prize comes from, and this guy was against him. So the only guy who got Nobel Prize was this Gulstrand. So I pray that you also should be awarded Nobel Prize.
So kind of.
Cool. So because you have done so much in the field of And what are the diseases which are incurable at this stage of science? Eye diseases.
There is, the eye is such an intricate apparatus, and it has all the systems represented in it. It has the neurological tissues, it has vascular tissues, it has connective tissues, it has bony protection around, it has muscles which move the eye. So it's a very complex structure. So that is why today 12 subspecialties exist, each increasingly handling a specialized area of the eye. And therefore the structure is so intricate that there will be conditions which are treatable only to a limited extent, especially because the retina is a kind of neurological tissue. The nerve that goes from this to the brain is again all neurons or nerve tissues which are not replaceable. Once they die, you have no replacement or not even regeneration or regrowth of tissues in that area. So there is that injury to the or damage to the retinal tissues or the nerves that takes place. That aspect remains inoperable or uncorrectable as of today.
Okay.
Of course, there is a lot of research going on stem cells, on.
So this organ donation, these eyes are after death. There is a common man's inquiry. They say how much time it is alive before you donate.
So the eye donation is a great concept, because in our country there are a lot of people who are blind because of corneal blindness. Now this is the aspect which can be corrected by grafting. Cornea is the transparent glass in front of the eye, through which all the images are going through and refracted in order to be focused on the retina. And now that gets damaged due to a number of diseases, including ulcers and infections, and trachoma was one of the major causes for blindness.
Ulcer is also responsible for this?
Yeah, if you develop a defect on cornea, corneal ulcer.
I thought
corneal ulcer.
Stomach
corneal ulcer.
That was very...
So all those diseases can lead to blindness, and cornea can be replaced by grafting. There are a number of advanced techniques of replacing it, full thickness or partial thickness, which restore the vision. So that is why eye donation is a great thing. Because
but how much time is there? There is some time limit.
So after the eye donation, within 6 hours, the eye must be harvested.
Okay.
Particularly in summers, this period may be even shorter. In winters, maybe a little longer when the eye is still viable. And then it has to be transferred in media which are available for purposes of storage. And then it can be used for the next 3 days, 5 days. But initially, it must be harvested within 6 hours.
Okay. So, do you think that there is also a restriction that if the guy who died was diabetic, all the disease will also be transported?
No, fortunately not. So those are not contraindications, a diabetic retina disease, because we are going to use cornea only.
Okay.
But and cornea is a relatively immune privileged structure which does not get immunologically rejected because it is avascular, it is without a blood supply.
Okay.
So those are the advantages that we have. But at the same time, we have to remember that we can only cure corneal diseases with eye transplant, with corneal transplant that is done, not the other diseases.
Okay, not retina and all those things.
No, the retina cannot be transplanted, as we were just saying, or optic nerve cannot be transplanted. So those
is still a challenge.
Still a huge challenge. Just as brain tissues, if they die, you can't replace them. Optic nerve is also a brain tract in a way, so it cannot be replaced at this time. And
what is the latest in the lenses which we are now doing these days? What are those progressive?
So for the cataract surgery, we now have very advanced lenses. I think we started in an era when cataract surgery was done without a lens, intracapsular. We removed the lens and that's it. And then you put those thick glasses which you saw. Jagjeevan Ram Babu or Venkatraman.
Black thick glasses.
Big glasses, because there was no lens inside. Now from that era, when we started with very primitive biconvex lenses, to those with very advanced optics now. We have lenses which are now aspheric, which correct the spherical aberration of the eye also, so that you get a vision which is what you had at the age of 25 or 20, because the spherical aberrations are corrected and optics is so good. But then there are additional advances. If you have a cylindrical error in your glasses, that can be removed now. When you put a lens, you not just remove the number, which spherical number, you remove the cylindrical number, so that it has also become a refractive surgery now. You can get the person to be without glasses and get a 6/6 vision without glasses. So that is the major development.
Advancement.
And then there are a number of other changes that took place. There were design modifications which allowed the lens to remain clear and the capsule which supports it to remain clear for a very long time. And then came these newer advances where we have lenses which correct your age-related near vision difficulty or presbyopia.
Yes, yes.
So these are presbyopia correcting lenses. And there are trifocal lenses which give you an intermediate focus, a near focus and a distance focus. And there are extended depth of focus lenses which give you the entire range from intermediate to distance visible.
So these lenses where you are talking, these lenses are put
inside the
eye.
They are put in where the normal lens, crystalline lens of the eye was. So once it becomes opaque, it needs to be removed by the more advanced techniques that we have, the phacoemulsification, which we have, where we can remove it by a 2 mm incision and then replace the foldable lens of a good dimension, a 6 mm optics dimension and a 12 mm support dimension through that 2.2 mm incision, and we are able to put it in the same position where the original lens was. And that is how you are able to see even without glasses after a cataract.
Okay. Somebody was telling that there are some diseases which are from genes also, which are not curable.
Yes, there are a number of diseases which affect different parts of the eye with genetic predisposition. I think exploration of genetics started happening over the last 3-4 decades. And we've identified more and more diseases which are genetically transmitted. And gene therapy holds a future, so maybe you'll see big changes in the next 2, 3, 4 decades. Myopia, for a simple thing, is also genetically linked. We could possibly be genetically modifying it.
Even glaucoma.
Glaucoma also has a genetic predisposition, a familial tendency for...
So a vast field still lies. Genetics is a big field.
Gene therapy will be critical. Already there are some areas like retinitis pigmentosa, retinal weakness or ratondi or night blindness that you have. Those diseases, some genetic types are already being treated by gene therapy.
Oh, really? My Dadaji, my grandfather, he had these floaters. They said that these floaters are incurable. You cannot cure them.
Not strictly. Floaters are small changes that happen in the jelly at the back of the eye. Once the position where you have the lens, between that and the retina lies this jelly-like structure called vitreous. Now, if there are some small degenerative changes happen in that, or age-related changes come about which cause it to separate from the nerve, you get those spots which are called floaters. Okay. Because they float as the eye.
Yeah, he also said something is happening to me.
Fortunately, now there are advanced surgeries, vitreous surgery, which was not there, say, 2 decades, 3 decades ago, which takes care of everything. But vitreous surgery is a big surgery. Why do it for a simple thing like floater?
Yes.
That's it. So floater does not normally obstruct the vision, and you can very easily learn to neglect it. So that is why it is not treated or not cured normally by vitreous surgery.
Because it's a huge job.
Although it is curable.
Okay.
You don't do a big surgery. You don't get. I tell my patients, you don't call Hathi to kill a cheetah at your home.
Yes.
So that is the reason why.
So it's curable, but वही आपने जो कहा कि हाथी को क्यों बुलाना, जहाँ काम आवे सुई का कर सके तलवार, सुई से जो काम हो जाता है जाने दो उसको ना. अच्छा, तो ये जो this lotus are also related to diabetic also.
Yes, in diabetes, you can get hemorrhages. Now, diabetes is a very serious issue because that can become a blinding disease because abnormal blood vessels form which start leaking, which can cause hemorrhage into the eye. So the jelly which I was talking about can become opaque or can have big floaters. Now that is a very serious issue because that recurrent bleeding will take away your vision totally, damage your retina as well, damage your vitreous body and eventually the nerve. So you need to treat that very well. And in fact, all diabetic retinopathy is preventable. So if preventive checkup is done every year for all diabetics, which is a big message that everybody in the audience should know, that one, extremely good control of diabetes along with any hypertension or kidney function problem or lipid problem or lipid profile problem, if it is associated, if they are controlled well, they're very unlikely to get diabetic changes in the eye which cause blindness.
That's great. It's a good message for
And number two, if they get an annual checkup done, timely checkup done, then it almost all cases can be prevented from developing loss of vision. So which is a great thing. And even after loss has started, a lot of them can be cured by injections in the eye, by lasers or by vitreous surgery. So, timely care is most important. Preventive action.
Preventive action. But this Baba Ramdev says that he can treat even this by yoga. Is it?
Yoga is a very good technique. It builds up your health. It can take care of a lot of lifestyle diseases or modify them. And therefore, yoga should be a part of our lives. And I personally...
No, especially for eyes.
I'm coming to that. But with all those benefits, there are diseases which are not curable by any exercises or any mental processes or mental relaxation technique. Those diseases, structural changes once they have taken place, need to be properly medically treated. What happens is that because of those assurances, sometimes people don't take their appropriate medical or surgical treatment.
That is wrong.
And we see a lot of people blinded because of this belief that they had that they will get cured by yogic exercises or by those measures that are advised, and they don't seek treatment at the right time and they get blinded. So that was the tragic part of it. So all the benefits at the right stage. Yoga is a great thing which our forefathers have given us, our culture, our tradition has given us, but we should understand it well. We should use it at the right time, control blood pressure with that, control diabetes with that, but
it will
at the
minimize
same time,
the risk of this.
But at the same time, don't overlook ensuring that it has brought those changes about, and if medical treatment in addition is required, definitely do it. Don't delay your medical attention or not obey take up the medical treatment because of those measures, because that can be one important reason for blindness. That is where misinformation sometimes...
This is misinformation.
Yes, because
he tells a kriya which is known as tratak. This tratak...
the eye movements in various directions.
No, they light a candle and they say that you watch for 30 seconds, then 40 seconds, then 1 minute, then 5 minutes. Then it will be treated. The power of the lenses will increase and all those things. And he claims, he means nobody, some teachers claim that your chashma utar jayega.
That does not happen. That we have not seen any evidence of in my 50 years of practice of somebody having a genuine number tested properly and coming back after any therapy with the number not being there. So
that's very important. That is a misinformation.
Yeah, unless there are some changes taking place in the lens because of other causes, which may sometimes change the numbers, but none of these therapies have a scientific basis. So that is a total, unfortunately...
No, it's good. This type of things should be known to our audience, that they sometimes claim कि नहीं हमारा तो चश्मा उतर गया, बाबा जी ने कर दिया, ऐसा कर दिया, all those things.
Lot of therapies like that advocated, but not one has stood the test of scientific evidence. And I have not seen a single case in my 52 years in the profession where I've seen somebody's number removed because of some therapy of this kind.
And do you think that this daily care of eyes, are there some people say that wash your eyes with cold water in the morning, and then you treat with this
Triphala or
Triphala
Amla.
So is it safe?
Well, he has designed a wonderful apparatus. It has a wonderful mechanism of tears flowing, tears being produced which keep the surface clean. Tears have such great properties. They have antibodies, they have enzymes, they have minerals, they have a lot of other things which are ideally designed for the surface of the eye to keep it lubricated, to keep it healthy, to keep it clean. So you don't really need too much additional thing, but a good hygiene is important, yes. You need not to have it contaminated. We used to have so much trachoma infection, etc. when the hygiene was poor. The disease disappeared as the country economically became better. So that hygiene is important, but many of these measures don't really help because they're not really needed.
They are not needed.
Yeah, because of the wonderful apparatus that he has created.
Now here comes my question or inquiry, or I'm inquisitive because somebody told me that this he, how much you give him credit in your life?
See, I'm certain that there is a spiritual power which...
So do you perform some puja or something? You believe in these things?
I think the great thing about Hindu philosophy, Hindu religion is that it gives us a lot of freedom not to be ritualistic or
not to be ritualistic,
or not to be going to temple every day. But you can, if you are internally spiritually inclined and you believe in his powers and his, or as we say, Atma being a part of the Brahma. So if that is true, then I think it is your actions, your deeds which reflect your religiosity or your spirituality rather than any ritualistic. So we are not a family who have been doing too much puja except or going to temples regularly, but I think every morning saying once to him
Thanksgiving,
doing a bit of meditation every day to be a part of him, and actions trying being reflective of your personality and your being a part of the Brahm. I think those are more important than any ritual pujas or anything. Occasionally, of course, we would do Havan at home or on some special occasions we would do it. But then there is no schedule or
no schedule. It is not religiosity. It's spiritual.
Yeah, I think that is the great thing about Hindu philosophy, Hindu religion. I think that it doesn't bind us to any ritualism necessarily.
So why don't you write a book? You have written several books, but they are textbooks.
Yeah, they are largely on the scientific material.
Because a person of your cadre and your experience, saying this means a lot. That there is a power, and we should not follow this everyday Gita, Ramayana, and all. These are not very important things, but you have to be religious in a way that
in your actions.
Yes, in your action. Yes, in your action. You said rightly. In your action, in your eye camps, I think that action is very much seen.
I feel that it's the power
Yes.
that brings about those actions. So no person can take credit for them. It's that supreme power. He's a part of all of us. We are all a part of that Brahma, that power, supreme power.
So do you think that the Greek oath which all the doctors take,
Yeah, it is. The Hippocrates oath is a good thing.
Yes.
It reminds you of your responsibilities.
Your limitations also?
Yes.
Your limitations also?
Yes. So I think it is a good thing when you are being initiated to be reminded of those things. And they should form a part of your conduct. Things have changed so much in the profession from being totally a path of taking care of people to becoming more and more marketing oriented, and we people sometimes have difficulty in adapting to the current world.
Just a layman inquiry that if a child is blind, can you make him see?
Several times. It depends on the cause.
Okay.
You just said that there were just several genetic diseases
where
involvement may be so severe, like there are conditions where eye is not formed at all.
Okay.
Or where there is the retina is damaged, or optic nerve is damaged, or the structural damage is so much that
nothing
can be done.
Okay.
But there are others who may have diseases which can be taken care of, like for example cataract or glaucoma at birth, or cataract at birth.
Or in an accident somebody lost his eyes.
Yes.
Then it can be cured.
Then again, and there are it depends on the kind of severity of the problem that was caused by that injury.
Okay.
If it is an injury which caused a blunt trauma, or even an open globe injury with which could be repaired well, which was not so bad, which did not damage the internal structures of the nerves, it can be put back, repaired, and you can do a very good reconstructive techniques. Now the vitreous surgery that I was talking about, that has brought about a revolution in management of trauma as well. So you can take care of many conditions which were otherwise not treatable. But then there is a vast group again who have a very severe trauma, where the eye gets lost. I happen to be the president of Ocular Trauma Society of India. So we are advocating that certain things which are preventable, we should work very hard on. Like for example, injuries due to cracker. In fact, our association is thinking of a public interest litigation on this aspect. So a lot of public support will be needed for a thing like this. That we should minimize the trauma where it can be. Like for example, with crackers, there was that era when Ramayana was so popular that Tir Kaman injuries were very, very common. So many eyes were lost because of that. Then road accidents are an important cause. Chuna that is available at homes, that sometimes gets spilled into eyes, and acids that are available for cleaning, sometimes they are either accidentally or with a bad intention thrown and cause injuries. Those can be very severe and cause a loss of vision. Of course, there are a lot of preventable ones in occupations, like in our jobs where the prevention can be done. In sports, there are a lot of trauma that take place which can be prevented by protective devices. In army, in combat, there are a lot of protective devices available. So our emphasis is on those things. In fact, National Human Rights Commission, we had approached, and they took up a full day program on eye injuries, and they made some nice recommendations. They asked all the ministries to come in that day, and we could convey these things to them. So that was a great, only last year that we could do that. So those kind of increased awareness in the public of how so much of injuries.
So why don't you give us those details? Because we have a law firm, we go for a PIL, so we at least draft something, and I will share the draft, and then we'll go for a PIL.
Great, that will be great help.
Yes.
One of our colleagues in Bombay has just started doing something about crackers, but there are so many other issues which can be taken up. I'll give you the recommendations of the NHRC, which were made very well after a lot of drafting, a lot of work.
You give me the recommendation. That will give an input for us to think what
as
should
to
be
how we can make public more aware, how we can take the prevention forward for trauma, because the data says that 7% of us will get a significant injury during our lifetime, which will have an impact on eyes. So 1 in 16 of us will have an injury affecting either one or the other eye with significant impact.
But sir, what is happening with this computer-aided injury?
See, the thing is that use of computers is now a part of our life. And the problems that it causes are eye strain and dry eye is one of the problems that is brought about by these things.
And this is all the youngsters, they are just spoiling their eyes because of this. What is
the good thing is that fortunately no studies have shown that there is a permanent harmful effect or loss of vision because of this. But you get a lot of strain, you get a lot of dryness, discomfort related to these. So those need to be taken care of by proper visual hygiene, which we say doing things properly, at the same time taking care of eyes, any diseases, any refractive errors that are present, any dry eye that is present should be attended to in time, taken care of, so that these lifestyle diseases don't become permanent and don't cause a long-term harm.
But these diseases are there now. The youngsters, my daughter, everybody, dry eyes and all those, they use that
drops, tear substitutes.
Tear substitutes.
Yeah.
Those are tear substitutes.
Yeah, they are called lubricants or tear substitutes.
Okay, that's very interesting. So we are trying to substitute it by the tear. The God has given something and we are trying to...
As I was saying, He's designed it so well because there is tears in front which have all those great properties which protect us. But once dry eye is developed, then that protection is gone.
Okay.
So that is where tear substitutes come in and other devices, other methods to take care of the dryness.
और एक मिथ है कि गाजर खाने से सब सही हो जाता है. What is that?
एक टाइम पे हमारे यहाँ विटामिन ए डेफिशिएंसी एक बड़ा इम्पोर्टेंट कॉज था. तो तब और भी ज्यादा रोल था इसका. गाजर इज इम्पोर्टेंट एज अ पार्ट ऑफ अ rich, nutritious or a balanced diet. Alone, it has no significant role, no scientific role.
Okay.
It has a role as an antioxidant, as a source of keratin, which converts into vitamin A, which is all important for eyes also and for the general body also. So, good nutrition in general is important for healthy eyes also.
Okay.
But no specific thing like कि ओस पे चलना या
so what is that? What is that? That ओस पे चलना is a very important thing.
So ऐसा कोई scientific evidence नहीं है कि उनसे कोई eyes के नंबर पे कोई फर्क पड़ता है.
That is a very big thing because people in the park I see in the morning सर्दी में घूम रहे हैं उस पे.
इस तरह से help कर सकता है कि outdoor activity has been shown to decrease the progression of numbers.
Okay, so this is something else. Means outdoor activity is there responsible for that.
It has been shown scientifically that if you spend 2 hours outside or outdoors, the progression of number becomes less. So that along with other things have also been shown to have an impact. लेकिन ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि कोई एक स्पेसिफिक चीज जैसे ओस पे चलना या गाजर खाना या
उस पे चलना या वो आजकल वो एक्यूप्रेशर वाला जो होता है ना
उसका भी अभी कोई साइंटिफिक एविडेंस नहीं है कि उससे
मैग्नेटिक आल्सो
none of them is scientifically proven और सिनेरेरिया या जो होम्योपैथिक ड्रग्स हैं अभी कोई जो हमारे साइंटिफिक मेथड्स हैं ट्रायल वाले जो डबल ब्लाइंड स्टडीज और किसी में ये प्रूवन नहीं है कि ये टेक्निक्स जो हैं कुछ हेल्प करती हैं. Scientific evidence thing.
So people must know this. These things are happening. They bring magnetic acupressure pads. They walk on that and they say, "I feel better now." So all those things. Sir, one more thing. One question comes to my mind sometimes that in our services there is a rejection on the basis of color blindness. Is it curable?
Color blindness is a genetic disease which we were talking about. So it is associated, occurs very largely only in males because it is X-linked, X-gene-linked transmission.
Okay.
So मेल में एक ही X जीन X क्रोमोसोम होता है, दूसरा Y होता है, तो वो कंपेंसेट नहीं हो पाता क्योंकि फीमेल में दोनों X जीन होते हैं. उनमें कलर ब्लाइंडनेस वर्चुअली नहीं होती. सो मेल्स में ही
so all the females should be happy
but they can be transmitters to the children.
अच्छा
क्योंकि एक एक्स जीन में अगर वो है तो वो जीन तो ट्रांसमिट हो ही सकता है बच्चों. तो
but it is
they are carriers.
not curable now.
This is not curable, but उसकी relativity होती है. और what has been a myth is कि it affects the person very significantly in his lifestyle. Actually ऐसा होता है कि उनको थोड़ा सा shades different दिखाई देते हैं. Partial होती है most cases में red and green blindness, और उसकी वजह से उनकी कोई भी impairment नहीं होती 99% लोगों में. And this was a myth कि उससे बहुत सारी activities में फर्क पड़ेगा. उसकी वजह से बहुत जगह वो disability लगा दी गई.
One of my friends, he was selected in IPS, but he was rejected because of this.
तो अब जो है increasingly government circles में भी और हमारे Apex Center ऑल इंडिया इंस्टीट्यूट से भी ये recommendation गई है कि वो realize करना चाहिए कि वो बहुत minor change in color values है for a different person. Severity different हो सकती है different individuals में. So except for professions जहाँ पे critical है colors, like maybe a driver in a railway or a
that
pilot
is important.
or
that
something,
is critical.
or a pilot, there is no other activity where a partial red-green blindness person should be barred. That is my firm belief, and this is increasingly being agreed by the profession as well. In fact, Government of India के पास recommendation भी गई है
बेचारे को उसको reject कर दिया.
वो सब लाइफ भर हमको मार्क कर देते थे without there being an actual handicap. वो 99% टाइम तो डिटेक्ट तभी होता था जब वो कलर प्लेट्स आपके सामने लाई जाती थी कि भाई कोई कलर विजन डिफेक्ट है, और उससे वो अननेसेसरीली एक स्टिग्मा क्रिएट कर दिया जाता था और वो ऑब्जेक्शन लग जाती थी फॉर जॉब्स. सो अदरवाइज कोई उनको लाइफस्टाइल में डिफरेंस नहीं होता. तो ऑलमोस्ट 5% ऑफ पॉपुलेशन हैज दैट, पर वो किसी तरह से हैंडीकैप नहीं है डे टू डे ड्राइविंग में या डे टू डे वर्क में या इवन टेक्निकल जॉब्स में या पुलिस सर्विस में. There is no reason for them to. There is no reason. I very strongly.
He went to the court. He went to the court.
Did he get a benefit?
No.
अब वो actually regulations बनी हुई थी और अब legal circles में भी
they said you can opt for another service there. Group based services में you can take some other service.
तो लीगल लॉ भी तो वही फॉलो करेगा जो उस वक्त सोशल या साइंटिफिक सर्कल्स में जो ओपिनियन होगा. तो लॉ कैन ओनली फॉलो दैट जो regulations हैं. पर as the realization comes and the government regulations change, I think law will also be able to.
It has to change.
Yeah.
So I request you to give those drafts for this PIL, which we want to contribute to this cause.
Great.
So
that will be so nice.
So thank you very much, sir, for being with me, and I am really privileged to interview a person who has received Padma Shri in this field. But I request and I pray to the God that you should be also going to get Nobel Prize in this.
Thank you, Jiten.
Because एक आदमी को ही क्यों मिला आज तक, मेरे दिमाग में ये जो हमेशा से रहा. आप उसमें लगे रहिए सर. हम लोग की फीलिंग्स और हम लोगों की प्रेयर्स आपके साथ हैं.
Thank you, Jitendra ji. It has been a joy interacting with you and with our wonderful audience. कि हम कुछ बातें दिल की बातें अपने प्रोफेशन से रिलेटेड और अपने.
अच्छा सर, आपके रिलीफ कैंप्स में कोई अगर जैसे कोई सोशल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, दे वांट टू ऑर्गेनाइज समथिंग समवेयर, इज इट पॉसिबल टू कांटेक्ट यू?
श्योर, व्हाई नॉट.
ओके.
हम लोग हॉस्पिटल की तरफ से भी करते रहे हैं फॉर several organizations जिन्होंने अप्रोच किया कैंप्स और सर्जिकल कैंप्स भी और आई बैंकिंग के कैंप्स भी के अवेयरनेस बढ़ाने के लिए.
So would you authorize us to contact with some big organizations? They are very big.
जी.
तो उनके कैंप जैसे एक तो चित्रकूट में लगाते हैं वो लोग.
जी. चित्रकूट में तो इतना बड़ा अस्पताल है. वो मैं उस हॉस्पिटल में कई बार जा चुका हूँ. उनके मेरी स्पेशलिटी जो ऑक्यूलर प्लास्टिक सर्जरी है, ऑक्यूलोप्लास्टिक.
But do you think चित्रकूट is good than this चेन्नई वन?
नहीं, देखिए शंकर नेत्रालय का अपना बड़ा रोल है इन डेवलपिंग सब स्पेशलिटीज इन दिस कंट्री और विट्रियो स्पेशलिटी को एक नई हाइट तक ले जाने का डॉक्टर बद्रीनाथ का बहुत बड़ा पायनियरिंग रोल है. लेकिन मास वर्क भी तो होना है ना. तो चित्रकूट टुक अप मास वर्क इन अ बिग वे.
Okay.
In such a big way that they were providing relief as a single hospital. जो largest operate करने वाले वो हैं. As a single institution, they are the largest institution who is doing maximum number of surgeries in a year.
But they are younger to this शंकर नेत्रालय.
यस, शंकर नेत्रालय. अरविंद आई हॉस्पिटल का आपने नाम सुना
हाँ,
होगा, जो शुरू हुए मदुरई से, और उनके बहुत सारे हॉस्पिटल्स हैं. उनके दे वर वन ऑफ द गाइडिंग स्पिरिट्स फॉर चित्रकूट एज वेल, मैनेजमेंट के लिए यहाँ पे. सो मास वर्क जैसे अरविंद में हो रहा है कि ब्लाइंड को बड़े लेवल पे सोशल आउटरीच के थ्रू उनके घरों में पहुंच के उनको ले जाके ऑपरेट करके, वही काम इन्होंने बहुत बड़े लेवल पे मध्य प्रदेश में और उत्तर प्रदेश में किया है. सो ये बहुत बड़ी उनकी अकॉम्प्लिशमेंट है, और बहुत बढ़िया कैंपस अब उन्होंने बनाया हुआ है जहाँ 25 मॉड्यूलर ऑपरेशन थिएटर्स हैं. इनफैक्ट मेरा जो बेटा विट्रियो रेटिना सर्जन है वो वहाँ पे ट्रेन हुआ है.
अच्छा, हु इज द डॉक्टर देयर? मेन किसका?
डॉक्टर बुद्धि जैन है.
अच्छा.
जिनका ये इनिशिएटिव था. उनको एक स्वामी जी मिले थे जिन्होंने ये साथ में रह के,
वो जो सूरदास जी तो नहीं है, रामभद्राचार्य?
नहीं, वो दूसरे थे. वो अब शायद नहीं है इस दुनिया में, पर मफतलाल की इन्वॉल्वमेंट रही उसमें. नाना देशमुख की भी उसमें हेल्पफुल रहे वो. तो उन्होंने तो इतना बड़ा कैंपस बनाया हुआ है जहाँ पे कि आई हॉस्पिटल ही नहीं है, जनरल हॉस्पिटल भी साथ में बना दिया है, कुछ टीचिंग स्कूल्स भी बना दिए हैं, गौशाला, प्लेसेस फॉर द फैमिलीज ऑफ देयर वर्कर्स टू वर्क, बिकॉज रूरल सेटअप है वेयर द चिल्ड्रन हैड नोवेयर टू गो फॉर एजुकेशन. सो उन्होंने बहुत बड़ा कैंपस ऐसा बना दिया है जहाँ पे बहुत सेवा का काम हो रहा है.
सो माय रिक्वेस्ट इज टू ऑल द व्यूअर्स इज दैट टू लाइक, सब्सक्राइब and forward this message everywhere to whomsoever it can, because डॉक्टर साहब अपना अमूल्य समय हमको दिए हैं, इसका सबसे ज़्यादा अब होना चाहिए. और वो हम लोग रिलीफ कैंप्स के बारे में भी बात करेंगे डॉक्टर साहब से. So thank you so much.
Thank you all.
How does you feel?
My privilege to be here.